Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start by thanking the organisers for the opportunity to present to you today on the midterm evaluation of GEO. By way of introduction, my name is Toma and I'm currently Deputy Director for International at UK Research and Innovation, UKRI. My focus is mainly on leading UKRI's strategy for bi- and multilateral collaboration with European agencies, and I'm currently serving a 3-year term as co-chair of the Belmont Forum, a multilateral forum that funds transdisciplinary research to address global environmental change. I'm also a member of the team conducting the midterm evaluation of GEO. Since GEO was formally established in 2005, there have been 6 evaluations of GEOS implementation. The 2016 to 2025 adopted strategic plan for GEO highlights the need for 2 comprehensive evaluations of GEO during this time period, focusing on progress made against the strategic objectives set out in that strategic plan and the expected results. The midterm evaluation will assess, as I've mentioned, the midterm evaluation will assess progress made against the objectives set out in the strategic plan, specifically over the 2015 to 2019 time period. It will also consider the extent to which priorities identified in the 2015 Mexico City Declaration are being realised, including for example, an expectation for increased stakeholder management and support for implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction and Resilience, and the UN Framework for Convention on Climate Change, and how Earth observation and the work of GEO is contributing to progress and supporting delivery of these frameworks. The evaluation will consider the full geographic scope of GEO, considering its global nature, and it will also cover the full thematic range of GEO's activities as set out in the GEO work programme. It is intended that the findings and recommendation of the midterm evaluation team will inform any course corrections needed to allow for these to be addressed during the second half of this strategic plan period. 3 key documents that are viewed as sort of source reference documents for the midterm evaluation and are help guiding questioning and approach are the GEO strategic plan, and there's hyperlinks to that, the GEO engagement strategy, and also the Mexico City Declaration that was published shortly after that summit. So the midterm evaluation team, so I'm just one of the members of the team, which is shown here on this slide. All the evaluation team members were selected following a nomination process by GEO principals for experts to join the evaluation panel. And you can see here that we've got quite a wide-ranging set of expertise and also good geographic coverage across the team members. So it's fair to say that the scope of the evaluation is very broad-ranging in nature. It's going to consider the governance structure of GEO and how that's operating effectively. It's going to look at the current work programme activities. Are they fit for purpose? Are they supporting delivery of the strategic objectives? It will take a close look at the engagement strategy and the priorities that set out, particularly in light of the importance given to this at the Mexico City Declaration. It will consider the implementation of GEOS and its role and how it contributes to the wider GEO framework. We've been asked specifically also to look at the funding for GEO, so the trust fund, how that's structured, the resources that it's provided, and is that fit for purpose in terms of maintaining sustainability of GEO in the longer term. We will, within that, we're also looking at very closely at the goals that were set out in the strategic plan and how GEO is addressing those. And this really is a sort of midway assessment. So we're looking at just the progress that has been made in the past 5 years with a view to giving a recommendation of where things may need further attention, or where things are progressing well as it moves into the second half of this strategic plan period. So on this slide here, we've set out the 5 sort of key questions as articulated in the terms of reference, which the midterm evaluation team was provided with by the GEO, XCOM and member organisations. So the first question that we'll be looking at is what results have been realised with respect to GEO's strength and focus on users and stakeholders, particularly the work they do with UN institutions, multilateral environmental-based agreements, how they work with the development banks, and also engagement with the private sector. We've also been asked to look at what results GEO has achieved with respect to increasing specifically the use as well as sharing and availability of Earth observations as part of the implementation of GEOS as set out in this strategic plan period. We'll also be considering what evidence exists for how Earth observation information products and services are being delivered through the GEO work, which have been delivered through the GEO work programme, and how they're being used to inform decision making by either individuals, organisations and governments. So really looking at what benefits there are that are being derived from GEO by a number of different stakeholders as really a sort of metric for how GEO is really influencing and driving forward work in this area. We'll be looking, as I've mentioned, how the GEO engagement priorities have impacted on the work plan and the work programme, and have led to an improvement in engagement not only with GEO members but participating organisations and key stakeholder organisations. And then finally, we'll be looking at to what extent the changes that were introduced in the strategic plan have impacted on the effectiveness of the GEO work programme decision flows, particularly those flows that go up and down between the different governing bodies, and has this led to an increased mobilisation of resources to the GEO Trust Fund. So those are sort of 5 key questions that we've been asked by the GEO members and executive committee to address through this evaluation. So the team is going to use a number of tools and approaches to help address these questions. Probably the most substantive piece of resource that we'll use to form our conclusions will be a GEO community survey. This will go out to members, participating organisations, associates, observers, those involved in the GEO, the various aspects of the GEO work programme, including the initiatives and stakeholders. We also intend from that survey to conduct a number of interviews as representative, with a subset of stakeholders as representative of different members of the GEO community. So within that, we will also be considering geographic spread as well as getting good spread across the different elements that make up GEO as a whole to ensure that we're getting representative engagement from different aspects of the system. As part of this, and I would say also within the survey that we're conducting, we will, if people are not invited for interview, we are offering the opportunity for people to get in touch with us if they would like to be interviewed as part of the midterm evaluation process. We'll also be conducting a survey of the Secretariat to understand their perspectives on how they see progress that has been made across this period, reviewing the key documentation as I've set out, and we may conduct case studies as required. A key part of what we've been asked to do is really dig into stakeholder and user engagement in GEO, and so while we will not be conducting a full detailed value chain analysis, we will work with certain GEO initiatives to at least at a high level try and really use a framework to try and really get to whose identification of who some of their key users are, so then we can follow up with those users and get their perspectives on how they see GEO. So effectively trying to go one step further than those immediate actors who are very familiar with GEO and are highly engaged in GEO, to really get at the end user community, which ultimately GEO is trying to serve. So just to highlight some of the key milestones. So here, the evaluation kicked off formally in February this year. We're now entering the data collection and analysis period. We have a deadline to prepare an interim evaluation report in the autumn, and then preparation of the final evaluation report is scheduled for springtime next year. And then that will go through a more formal sign-off process through the relevant GEO governance structures, concluding formally a presentation at GEO Plenary in November 2021. So I think this evaluation is really going to look at how GEO has progressed towards its goals during this the first 5 years of the strategic plan period, and give some assessment of the direction moving forward. We're really not able to do this without those actively involved in the GEO work programme activities participating. And so we really are using this as an opportunity to ask you to really get involved and engage with the evaluation as much as you're able to do. The primary audience for the final evaluation report will be the GEO governance bodies, so the plenary, executive committee and the programme board, but also, more broadly, the stakeholder community. And we haven't yet sent out, we will be doing very shortly in the next month, we'll be sending out our broad survey to the entire community. So that's coming. But in the meantime, if you really feel that you would like to be interviewed by the midterm evaluation team as part of this process, then if you could please get in touch with Sam Reeves, whose email's on the slide. And we'd really be more than happy to schedule some time and conduct an interview with you, because really the perspectives, views, both good, bad, neutral, are really going to help in this process and help provide a good barometer for where GEO has what is achieved in the last 5 years, and help ensure that it's on track to achieve the aspirations of the strategic plan over the coming 5 years. And thank you very much. So we're now available for questions, and I'm joined by some of my colleagues who are also on the midterm evaluation team, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you.